All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, PlayFest Football. Today we're going to take a look at when and where you may want to fit things off of a sniffer or kind of a wide off in 11 personnel and the things we like it versus and the things that kind of give it some issues. Make sure you check out some of our partners, GameStrat, Sideline Replay System we use, Baker Sporting Goods, the company that we use for our uniforms, coaches gear, players spirit packs, fan gear. Dome Headwear is the headwear sponsor of PlayFest Football, and they make hats for the school that I'm currently coaching at. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. We have 3 of them in our weight room. We get thousands of reps. We don't need a partner. JustPlayFB, which is the playbook software we currently use at the school that I'm at. I use it for PlayFast when I'm doing webinars or anytime I'm going to speak at clinics because it's the best play drawing tool on the market. HighandTight ball security training aid, instant auditory feedback. You have to hold the ball in a proper position, wrist above the elbow, elbow in tight, proper points of pressure to hear the beep. TV publishing, which makes videos and books to grow your knowledge in the coaching profession. They've got a lot of new videos out that you're going to want to check out, so check out TV publishing. And then CoachTools, which is a new way to grade players, player evaluation system. If you're tired of the old way, charting and padding and doing things and grading guys, the old-fashioned way by hand, now you got a brand new system, new software. You can custom create tabs and columns and makes it a great way to grade and evaluate your players. So when you're playing teams that are either sniffer orientated or Y-off teams that are 11 personnel, you can kind of pick and choose when you want to fit things off of a sniffer as opposed to base under keys, right? So what do we like when teams are Y-off or 20 personnel teams? When they are split zone, all right, when they are power, if they are GY counter or pin pull, we love fitting off the sniffer if those are the schemes they are carrying, right? So, if they're split zone, you're going to get zone front side. You're going to get sniffer coming back, right? So now, if we see that and we are fitting it off the sniffer, now we can rock everything back. All right, so now we're front side, rock back here. All right, nose. If he is lagging and he depending on how we're playing him. All right, the tough one with the nose is if you're lagging him is the rock back for the mic goes to the backside A gap. Okay, so when you are playing it this way, you might need your nose to be a front side A gap player, so the mic rocks back. Now we can chase or spill that, and now we can rock it back tight downhill to the C. Okay, and now versus the split zone, we should have it gapped up as long as we can handle the interior A gaps, all right? So if the mic goes to, this might take a little bit of work, all right, a little bit of time in your inside run fits. If the mic goes to rock back and the nose is in the backside A, then the mic's got to correct that and fit into the front side A. Okay, so anytime we see split zone, we know that we can rock the fits back. We feel good about it, all right? We know we can get ourselves in a good position. Anytime we see front side power, all right, we feel good about it if we're getting front side power schemes. All right, so if we're getting your traditional gap schemes and we're getting, all right, front side power, probably not with the Y off, it would be more from an inside position there if they're trying to kick, but you're going to get the double here, trying to work all the way back there. You're going to get this down, trying to get to the mic, your kick out block, your pull there, right? So now if we fit, sniffer stays front side. So now we're going to hope that we can spill, get him vertical downhill, and spill the first puller. Mike's going to fit now, front side. All right, so the mic probably ends up, depending on where the tackle climbs, the mic's probably going to fit underneath and plug and become that, virtually become that 3 technique. Now you're going to try and get your backside backer here to jump over, all right, because the sniffer stayed on that side and there's nothing in bringing back to his side, right? So you're going to get your front side to jump over. We'd have our safety down here in sky support, corner over the top. So now we've got a support force player there, and then we've got a fold or vice into the box back that way. All right, so if he stays front side on power, we're okay with it. All right, if that's the schemes that they like to run, we feel like if he stays front side and flow goes front side, we can fit, all right, off of where he is. If they're a pin pull team, we're okay with it. All right, so now if he's more in that Y off position, 2 by 2, if he's that Y off guy and they're running pin pull stuff, we're still okay with it because everything takes us front side to our reads. All right, so if they were Y off like that, we may have to lock it on this side or choose if we want to bump to a 3-2 box and play quarters and bump our stack backer outside, right? So if they were pin pull, all right, depending on what their rules were, they're either going to pin the 5 and get the tackle out. Okay, maybe they'll pin the nose and try and get the center out. They might even try and get the backside guard out versus this front, right? So if they're trying to pin pull stuff and everything is staying front side, well, we know if the sniffer stays front side, we can now fit, all right, to the front side of the sniffer. And now with the sniffer staying front side, all of our reads take us front side. So we should be okay, all right, fitting off of where the sniffer is. We should be okay playing those types of deals, all right, if we get the sniffer staying front side and the pin pull staying front side. If it's a GY counter team, in other words, they're going to use the sniffer as the puller, right? So if they're going to run GY counter stuff and they're going to use the sniffer as the puller, then it's still the same philosophy. We're okay if everything is coming back, right? So if they're down here to the mic, going to double off of this and work back here, all right, probably try and hinge that right now, and now you get the pull kick and you get the pull wrap. So now if that's the one that takes us back, now we're going to hope to spill with the end here. Sniffer comes back, so we get vertical straight downhill with the left linebacker. The mic's going to plug right there, try to jump over, all right, with the backside linebacker, because everything is taking us where the sniffer is coming back. Everything is taking us that way, right? So then we have the Sam sitting out there, so if we get vertical downhill, we'd like to spill. If we can get the ball spilled and the sniffer comes, we'd like to spill the sniffer and send the ball to the Sam. All right, now on the backside, sniffer goes away. I was a man player. I can become a cutback player. It almost becomes like a sky or a star technique. Once that sniffer goes away, I was playing a man on the front side. He went away, so now I can become that cutback fold player, right? So all of those schemes where everything kind of goes where the sniffer is very conducive to you fitting off the sniffer, because like the split zone or the boot stuff or the bluff stuff is where it really starts to help you now. So if you start getting like split zone read theories, all right, or even turned into boot theories now, when you're fitting it off the sniffer, all right, if you have the luxury of doing so because their schemes allow you to do so and you feel comfortable, now what happens is you're going to get the zone front side here, right? So you're going to work all those zone combos there. Okay, now the sniffer's going to come back and let's say he's going to bluff. Well, now we fit the zone front side, all right, here. We're starting to fit the zone, but the sniffer went back, so now we're that gap there, and squeeze, and now we rock back with, all right, our left linebacker. You know, it's kind of like a stack track fallback theory. We rock back with our left linebacker, and now when we rock back, we are able to play the Q. So now we get the Sam outside in, as long as he doesn't get blocked by the slot, and then we've got to replace by the left safety, right? And now we get two backside, because instead of the left linebacker flowing and fitting the B gap of the zone play, he sees the sniffer come back, so we rock it back, and now when we rock it back, we have a guy in position to play either the quarterback in the zone read game, or if you were to get boot stuff, all right, so you might get, let's say you get potential boot stuff where they're trying to do something and they're trying to bring him behind the line into the flat there, climbing with the over. Now when you get the boot stuff, when you rock it back, your Sam is okay to fit back in where he needs to be, right? So your corner's out here, safety ends up on the corner route because two's vertical. Sam can expand to the flat, and now you still have this backer here, as long as they don't pull anybody else coming back. You have this backer to pull up the quarterback. All right, so when you're getting schemes like this, it's very conducive to fit off the sniffer. Where it becomes an issue, all right, teams that carry GT bash, all right, teams that carry GT bash. So now you're going to get a theory where the sniffer is going to stay, but everything else is going to come back, right? So now you're going to get it to where, whoops. So now the sniffer is going to arc front side, right? But now what you're going to get is you're going to get these doubles, and now you're going to get this action coming back with a read scheme, right? So the bash theory here, the QB run theory, backside to the counterplay. So now if he stays front side and we read off the sniff, and we don't see any under keys, just off the sniff, the fit would end up being squeezed, the ball will go outside, right? And now the fit, we'd all be running here, which if we get it squeezed and we get the ball given, and now if the sniffer arcs for the alley and we run the alley, we've got an extra player on the bash, okay? If we can get the ball given, which by rule we should be able to get the ball given, right? But if the ball, for whatever reason, if this anchor sees this action and goes up the field, if the quarterback keeps the counter play and we are fitting everybody back, we're going to be short, because now they're going to kick or log the end, and they're going to have another puller that can get out on the SAM, because all of our guys fit to the side of the sniffer, right? So we all fit to the side of the sniffer. So if you're going to fit off the sniffer, you may have to have your guys be able to see flow away from the sniffer as well, so that now, all right, now if you were to get, with your linebackers, if you were to get some type of sniffer front side but flow going back, right, now it gets you into a situation where if you rocked it back, you may be short to the bash side, right? So if your guys read under keys, all right, so if sniffer stayed front side but you got pullers that took you off of your sniffer read. So if you told your guys, hey, look, we're reading the sniffer, everything that stays full flow will fit to the sniffer, all right? But any sniffer pull away keys, we've got to fit off the under keys. So now if you try to pull your backers and fit off the under keys, now what's going to happen is you're going to be really good to the counter, but you're going to be short a guy because he can get up on this. If he pulls, if he squeezes and forces the give, now you got the give in the two guys that are blocked. All right, so the GT bash theory is a play that I think everybody should carry as an offensive scheme. It gives defenses absolute fits because you can't commit everybody, all right, the same way. If you're going to squeeze these, and you know you're getting these theories, if you're going to squeeze them with your ends have to do a real good job of forcing the give so that your other guys, if you're fitting sniffer-wise, if we're running to the sniffer, okay, we've got to make sure that the ball gets given, because if it's the counter coming back, we now have issues, all right? If we're reading straight under keys, or if we're fitting off of pullers, so if we're now fitting off of pullers and we're rocking back this way, we had now had to play, our end would have to play as an upfield box guy. So now you've got all kind of rules that you're changing and things that are giving you constraints on defense, all right? Because now you're going to want if you're fitting your backers off of the GT action, you're going to want the cue to keep the ball. You don't want the bash being given, right? So what it basically comes down to is between your end play and your backer play, all right? When it's all full flow to the sniffer, you're fine. But as soon as you get constraints or constricting or contradicting flow, excuse me, now you've got to make sure that you don't commit everybody to one theory. All right, so if your end is a chase or a squeeze player, now you've got to let your linebackers run with the other stuff. Right? Because now you're saying that the ball's going to get, if he's the read and he is taking it away, now you're saying that the ball has to go to the bash so we can run. If your linebackers are going to play with under keys and pullers, and now they're going to work back this way, now you've got to tie that into your end play and you've got a box. So to me, that theory, all right, on offense, I think everybody should carry that theory within their read game. You have a chance to get the ball to the perimeter, all right, but it creates such big-time constraints on the defense, because now within your normal fit rules, you might have 90% of the runs fit really well, and then this one run is going to give you complete absolute issues to where you either have to come up with a new rule or you've got to maybe change the structure of your front or your coverage, all right, because now you're going to get short depending on how you do it. End squeezes, all right, and we run and the ball's given, we're in great shape. End stays upfield and we run, we're dead to the counter. End squeezes and we run to the counter, now we're dead to the bash play. All right, so that is one of the plays that would, for me at least, when teams carry that play, it gets you off of those sniffer reads, where when you look at most offenses, whether it's Y off or two back with a fullback, the fullback probably takes you to 90% of the runs. If they can carry any constraints in their offense that are going to make it contradictory, that's what makes it tough, because now you've got to look at your fits again and go, okay, how are we going to handle this now when we get this GT theory? All right, usually the way we try to handle it is if it's a read scheme, we try to take away the inside component of the read scheme so everybody else can run to the perimeter. All right, so if it was zone read, we're going to try like heck if we can to take the zone away and let everybody else run to the perimeter. So again, if you got that picture where it was zone read or zone bluff or something along those lines, okay, we would work like heck to make sure that we take the zone play away, so that now when we're running our guys the other way, so if we're going to get air inside and they're going to leave us unblocked, if they're going to leave us unblocked here, we have to make sure within our base rules we are trying to take all these inside runs away, make the ball go back. So now if a puller, the sniffer comes, if we fit it off him, we can get the extra bodies back where we need them, all right, and get the extra guy to the quarterback. So for us within our base schemes, anytime the ends are unblocked, we're probably going to try and have them play the inside component of the run game. Don't think dive, quarterback, pitch. That old school theory will get you killed, because as soon as they run bash, the quarterback is actually the dive player. All right, so think inside components, outside components. And for us, the 5 techniques that are unblocked have to try and take away the inside component, which also helps us versus pull schemes or power schemes. If we get, all right, inside release veer blocks, down blocks, and we try to take the inside part away, that helps us spill. But when you play that way, there are going to be some things that are going to give you a few issues. So you have to make sure that you understand when you want to fit it that way and when you don't, and when you just want to fit off of base under keys and let everybody play football kind of the old-fashioned way, where you're reading either triangles or you're reading alarms behind the center for pullers, or your outside backers might be reading a triangle from the tackle to the back. Inside guys might be reading centers and guards, or however you're teaching your guys to read it. You know, those theories are good in a lot of ways, but now when the sniffer starts doing things coming back and you don't fall back or rock back, sometimes you get short a guy on some bluff schemes and some some zone read bluff schemes with the sniffer as a lead blocker, or some boot schemes with the sniffer in the flat. All right, so if you rock back to the sniffer, you get the bodies where you need them, but any constraint theories with pullers away from the sniffer are going to give you some issues. All right, so hopefully that kind of gives you guys an understanding. If you've ever heard of people fitting off of the sniffer or off the fullback, or rocking back off of the sniffer, became popular, probably 10, 15, 20 years ago when there was a lot of 20 personnel and guys started realizing that the sniffer took them to the ball. In our offense, we were that way very much so we had to carry some dart and GT counter constraint plays, because the sniffer was taking people to a lot of plays, and a lot of people were I actually got turned on to it when I watched defenses play us and they fit things off the sniffer, and they were getting guys and extra guys in position all the time because our sniffer took you to the ball 90% of the time. So it's a great way to fit on defense, but I think you have to have the ability to do it both ways and teach your linebackers have to understand when are we fitting, if you use the term sniffer fits and then you use the term under keys or whatever other terms you use, so that if the game plan dictates that you can't fit off the sniffer, then you've got to have something to fall back to. So I hope this helps you guys out. If anybody was ever looking at fitting off the sniffer, I appreciate everything you guys do for PlayFast. Remember to subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, thumbs up, thumbs down if you like or don't like the content. It helps us out. Leave a comment. Every comment you leave I try to get back to if I can see it on my end, so that interaction helps us as well. All right, but again, if you're in spring football, good luck to you. I hope everybody's healthy. I hope you are getting the things done that you need to get done. If you're getting ready for the summer and the off season and the end of the school year, then make sure that you can finish the year strong, keep everybody where they need to be, keep your mind where it needs to be, get a little break in the summer, and then turn it on when it's time to go, all right? So remember, you won't play well until you play fast. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time.